All right, officially live, doing Plumbstream number 19. We are um, Saturday, August 8th, 2020. How's everybody going? Um, what's everybody up to? This is your opportunity to talk to me, find out how I'm doing, but also ask me any questions that you can, plumbing related or non plumbing related, whatever you guys are feeling. It is a hot one today here in Toronto, Ontario. Um, work has Chris Larson. What's going on? Hope you're doing well. Chris, what's happening with you? Shoot me up any questions that you're interested in asking. Now's the time. I'm going to give you guys about an hour. First of all, Chris, are you at work? Are you working? Are you dealing with COVID related shutdowns? Vens Vlogs, what's going on, Vens? How's it going? I saw the World Star Plumbers, World Plumbers. Ryan's here. Ryan, what's going on? I saw you guys on, what do you call it, World Plumbers this week. Um, Tenzin, what's going on? How are you? So I saw you and Emma doing that up. Man, good for you guys. That was a little bit, it looked like it was tough because you were juggling like live work. Killer Rob, Robs, what's going on? World Plumbers Takeover. That's right, guys. Good for you. Congratulations. I think that's your second time on it. Laureate, what's going on? Wow, we got a big crew on a couch watching you. LOL from MN. Just picked up a K60. Any tips on the machine? Chris never used a K60, only a K50. But if it's similar to the K50, just be careful when that coil gets heavy, man. You don't want that thing flying into the drain. Be on top of that, if you know what I'm saying. So congratulations to the Vens out there for being on. Let me read it again so I don't mess this up. World Plumbers Takeover. You guys had the whole day to yourselves doing that, juggling work and also vlogging, essentially. Not easy. I can feel that for sure. But good for you guys. You made it through it. Excellent. Chris, what prompted you to get the K60 and not the K50? I don't even know about the K60. Is it bigger than the K50? Or is it a similar size machine? What size is the coil? Let me know. Laureate, what's happening with you? How's Toronto treating you? Killer Rob, what's going on? Any questions? Hit me up. Tenzin, anybody. Peeps, this is your opportunity to just give me some questions that you might want answered or just chat me up. Bro, kitchen sink requires its own waste stack. This is due to what reason? Kitchen sink requires its own waste stack. This is due to what reason? Tenzin, normally whenever you do kitchen stacks, so essentially kitchen stacks, I think, this is going to be a little bit of a guess. Normally the way it works is that if you're roughing in kitchens, you're roughing them one on top of the other. So you're going to throw in its own stack. So the kitchen's tied off to just the kitchen stack. Been up in the penthouse at one bloor, busy, which is a good thing, LOL. Congrats, Laureate. Good to be busy, my man. But like I said, it's a gift and a curse. So Tenzin, the reason why you want to tie off your kitchen stack separately from your soil or waste stack, from your like water closet stack, is because if you have a backup and it's happening in your kitchen, I assume that's going to be a significantly more. It's going to be a bigger issue because that's where you guys essentially are preparing food. So if you're mixing the contaminants from a soil or waste stack that's designed for water closets, you don't want to tie it into your kitchen. Food prep, yes. Thanks, Ven. Thanks for verifying that. Yeah, I think that's what it is. Basically, you don't want the contamination to be cross-contaminated. That's why you want all the kitchen stuff in one stack, all the toilet stacks on one stack as well. You don't want to mix them up because you're going to be it's very easy to contaminate food that way. It's very dangerous for humans as well, which is why whenever you're doing a restaurant, for example, we've roughed in a couple of coffee shops, and whenever they have a food preparation sink, you're not actually allowed to tie into the food preparation sink. What you're supposed to do is have a hub drain, which is an open-ended drain. It essentially doesn't connect to the fixture, the actual sink. it's left open so that if it backs up, it doesn't actually back up into the sink. It backs up onto the floor before touching the sink in general. That way, when you're preparing food, you can wash your food in that sink and it'll never get contaminated with water. Ever come across some multi-store wet vent stacks in condos as of yet? Laureate, to be honest, I don't see stacks. I think I have, to be honest. I think I have, and I think it was I think it was they tied off essentially 422. What's going on? Give me a sec. An air gap. That's right, Vens. Exactly, an air gap. A hub drain with an air gap, I think it's called. I think I have seen a multi-story wet vent, but it was washing machines, one stacked on top of the other. And as I was doing the math, I was wondering why it was like it was a smaller size than I expected it to be, basically. All right, let me keep going. 422 G-Man, what's going on? I'm new to the trade and helping a friend with his service plumbing business. What are a few things I can do to be the best apprentice helper for him? So 422 G-Man, I did a video on this, so if you want to check the videos, you can also see a more thorough video. But essentially, how you would be the best kind of helper is just figuring out what exactly your buddy needs, essentially. Because what you're going to have to do is facilitate this person's work. In other words, when you're a helper, what you're doing is you're making sure everything's prepped for the journey person or the person in charge. That's it. So what you want to do is figure out what needs to be done, take action in doing it. So if you know, for example, you're cutting drywall, what you really want to do is talk about drop sheets and say, look, do you want drop sheets? Let me go upstairs and drop the drop sheets down right now. Get them ready. Etc., etc., etc. If somebody needs to solder, you're gonna go right away. Okay, let me clean some fittings for you to get it ready. If tools need to be moved around, you're doing that. That's essentially what a helper does, and that's how you become a better helper. Eventually, G-Man, what will happen is you'll know your journey person so well. You're going to be doing things before they even ask for it because you know just how they work. But that takes time to eventually learn that person and their style, okay? So, G-Man, I hope that helps. Killer Rob, my question to you is, how come there seems to be a lot of schools for HVAC, but plumbing and electrical, it seems you have to go through the union? Killer Rob, I don't know the answer to that question, to be honest. Maybe there is some sort of apprehension by the market for people to get into plumbing. A lot of people know plumbing can be a dirty job. So HVAC might be a little bit cleaner. Electrical, you're saying, has the same issue, but it could be that. It could also just be, I don't know, just sometimes the wind blows towards a certain direction. And maybe there were multiple HVAC companies that were like, you know what? Let's get going. Let's get started. Let's start putting in schools. I don't know. I don't know why that would be specifically for HVAC. It would be going good and plumbing not. In regards to going through plumbing, I mean, I wasn't in the union, but I was going to school because it's actually the city that is in control of that. So in other words, if you sign up as a registered apprentice, they're going to send you to a registered school for your apprenticeship. So I didn't notice any lack of demand or lack of resources. There were 2 or 3 schools I had the opportunity to go to. It was just that I was situated closest to the Toronto one rather than the Durham one, etc. So, Killer Rob, I hope that helps. Let me know. Chris Larson, K60 compact light 7/8 cable. Main drains in residential 3-inch to 4-inch. Using a K750 unit was almost 135 pounds. Up and down steps was killer. Enjoy your vids. Keep it up. Chris, appreciate it. We use the K1500 when we go to 3 to 4-inch. K1500 is kind of like what you're talking about. Man, it's up there in the hundreds of pounds. It's a backbreaker. It's a 2-person job no matter what, because it's just not worth killing yourself doing it all by yourself. You know, not to say that you can't do it by yourself, but honestly, it's just not worth it. So I hear you on getting the smaller machines. It's way better, and it's way more, it's easier on the back, you know what I'm saying? Laureate says, becoming more and more popular, but it is screwing us up in some places because homeowners are wanting fixtures in those locations, but tying in slash moving stuff with those stacks is a lot harder. Laureate, that actually makes a lot of sense. I haven't run into that issue as of yet, but yeah, that makes total sense. You know, I actually went into a building that was built a while back, and what's really interesting is that as I was doing the fixture units, they wanted to add a washing machine, a washer dryer into the system. So I walk in and I open up the wall, and what's really interesting is that they actually roughed in the pipes at the particular size so that eventually you'd be able to tie in a washer dryer. And I don't know if that happens anymore. I don't know if engineers now sit down and think to themselves, okay, should we perhaps add a few fixture units in case somebody wants to add, I don't know, an additional powder room or an additional washer dryer? So that's really interesting. I was very impressed by those engineers at their forward thinking because it was a condo and the condo didn't have washer dryers inside the units. So in their heads, they were probably like, well, that's sort of a staple for condos here in Toronto. Normally you have a washer dryer in the unit. So, maybe that's why it is. But Laureate, I feel for you, man, because that can't be easy, man. Vens are saying to 422G man, learn the fittings and the tools. Vens, that's great advice. 422G man, definitely check out the fittings and the tools. It's really going to make your life easier. That way, if you got to run to the truck or go get a fitting, you at least know what those are. Killer Rob, the plumbing schools don't advertise as much. Vens, good advice again. Laureate, in Ontario at least, the Ministry of Training take care of the apprenticeship and schooling. You're required to keep track of the hours/skills, booklets that you obtain from MOT. I honestly think they do it on purpose for two reasons. It is a hell of a lot cheaper to do that. One pipe, one shot down to basement. It also makes moving fixtures difficult, which keeps the base building original. Laureate, maybe they do. I'm not going to dispute that. I think you're right. I would assume that buildings actually would want things to stay pretty much the same, maybe just have cosmetic things happen rather than fixtures move around. Like, for example, whenever you're taking out a bathtub in a condo, there isn't much you can do aside from put in another bathtub, or the other thing that you can do is maybe try to rough in a shower pan. But it's not like you can put the bathtub on a different side of the wall. Like, it's just not going to work out that way because the floors are cement. And you're actually not allowed to chip out that floor because it's a rebarred floor and it's for the infrastructure. Like, you don't want to tamper with any of that stuff. So I think you're right, Laureate. It might actually be the case that they don't want you to do much. Then the building guys don't have to worry about not knowing the overall building layout after a reno. Yeah, Laureate, I think you're on top of something, to be honest. I think you're right. I think that's what, I would assume that's what people have in mind. They don't want you adding a ton of fixtures or whatever. So, yeah, I'm with you there. I think that makes a lot of sense. Peeps, if you can hit that thumbs up button, that would help us out greatly. Also, oh, there we go. Appreciate it. Also, just want to say real quick, really appreciate everybody that's been listening to the EP. I've gotten, just did. Thank you guys. Appreciate you, Vens. I really appreciate you guys checking it out. It means the world to me. If you don't know already, my EP came out. Been working on it for about 4 years. Check out on any place that streams music, OMG TPH or Kenny Molotov. You'll see my new EP there. My very first song on the EP seems to be doing really, really well. A lot of people like that. What's up, Deontay? Deontay, did you have your interview yet? Was that last week? I think it was you, Deontay, that was saying that you have a union interview. Let me know. I want to know how it went if that's the case. So yeah, thank you for checking it out. Yes, I think so. Thanks, Vens. Yeah, I think so as well. I think Deontay was talking about it last week. Thank you for checking out my EP. Also, thank you for checking out the plumbing math course. If you have problems with plumbing math, I have an entire course dedicated to it, 10.5 hours long. You're going to have to go into a previous video to check out the links for that. But I appreciate you guys checking that out. It means the world to me. And also, I have a vlog that came out last week that nobody seems to be knowing about. It's only at around 250 views. For some reason, people aren't finding out about this vlog. So If you go onto my latest vlogs, vlog 78 came out last week. So check it out if you can, if you haven't already checked it out. Hit me up with more questions. Nathan, what's going on? Hey, Kenny, I asked you a couple of days ago in the comment section if once my third year plumbing and gas apprenticeship is completed in the UK, if it can't be transferred in Ontario. Nathan, I thought I answered. Okay, so Nathan, who can you ask? Okay, that's a good question. Nathan, what you want to do, and Laureate was talking about this for a second. Give me a sec. You want to look at the Ministry of Training. That's who you want to look up, Nathan. The Ministry of Training in Ontario or whatever province or not province or territory you're going to. So if you're planning to come to Ontario, you want to check out the Ontario Ministry of Training. Call them up even. I don't know what the time difference is for you, Nathan, but call them up or send them an email and say, look, I'm from the UK. I'm a third-year apprentice. I have this many hours under my belt. I just want to know, how does the transfer happen? And Nathan, if you do that, they should be able to answer you within, I guess, a few business days or whatever. Calling them up would be the next best option. And let me know how it goes. I'm really interested to know how it works out for other apprentices, Nathan. Sorry I couldn't have been more help. Deontay! Oh, good for you. Okay, so I think it went well. The interview in front of 6 members. One of them said I was the best dressed applicant they seen. That's it, Deontay. It's all about making a first impression, friend. That's what you did. That's what you're supposed to do. Good for you, Deontay. All we're going to do now is wait and hope that you got your foot in the door, man. This is exciting times. But, Chris, we'll talk in a sec. Give me one sec. But, Deontay, look, here's what I got to say. Don't get discouraged if it didn't work out. Look, these sorts of things happen. You go through a long stretch of trying hard, but that doesn't mean there's anything wrong with you. It just might have happened that, they found another candidate that just fit a bit better, whatever. Deontay, congrats on the interview. I'm glad it went well. And let me know. Keep me posted, please. I'm glad you're back on here to let me know. Please keep me posted. I'm super excited for you. I have a feeling, I'm just saying, I got good vibes, sending out good vibes to you, Deontay. Vens are sending out congrats to Deontay as well. Nathan says, cool man, no problem. Soldering versus pro press, I feel in. Chris, I'm a big fan of soldering. I haven't yet actually pro pressed. Peeps, I got to talk to you about Wurzbo. I think it's Gaith. Hey bro, I really want to work as a plumber, but I feel shy. Gaith, don't feel shy. All you have to do is start sending out resumes. That's it. That's all you can do. Don't feel shy. It's one of those things that we all have to go through. And eventually, you get enough skills under your belt, and before you know it, you're working on your own in your own truck, or you're doing a whole roughing by yourself. Thanks, Ken. I definitely will let you know. All know. Deontay, please do. That is awesome. So, Chris, you're asking, what are your thoughts about soldering versus pro press? Chris, I think pro press legitimately makes things way faster and even a little bit easier, I would say. And I don't mean that in any sort of negative way. I just mean that it looks like a pretty awesome system. The only thing I don't like about ProPress is that you need batteries. And if you run out of batteries, you can't ProPress. Anyways, aside from that, I think ProPress is the future. Now, here's what I got to say. At heart, I'm an old soul. Every time I go grab my torch and I light that bad boy up, I'm a happy, happy camper. So I am of the opinion that I don't ever want soldering to go away. I think it's going to be around forever because I also think a lot of tradespersons enjoy doing torch work. That's just an opinion though. That's where I'm at. I want a ProPress machine. It's definitely on the list of plumbing bucket list if there's a such thing, but I'm absolutely a big fan and I definitely want to try it out. Vens are saying we don't do much ProPress. Vens are old school like me. Oh, I love it. I live in Vancouver, BC. Have you been there? Gaith, I've never been to Vancouver, BC. I definitely want to go. Vancouver is nothing but gorgeousness from what I hear. My wife's been there a few times with her family. It's definitely on the list as well. We just got to make sure this COVID situation calms down everywhere. It's really hard to travel right now. Gaith, just do it, Vens are saying. What are you waiting for, Gaith? Look, we have We have a very big demand for tradespersons on the planet, man, especially here in the West. Get your butt in gear. Go ahead. Send out those resumes. You got nothing to worry about. See where it takes you. You got to be a little bit light-footed in this sense. You know what I'm saying? You got to just walk to a beat and send out those resumes and see where it takes you. God owes me. Okay, God owes me. Is pre-apprenticeship program for plumbers worth it? So God owes me. Here's my feelings on the pre-apprenticeship program. What I would suggest is if you can get your foot in the door before going through a pre-apprenticeship, that's probably the easiest step for you. No, sorry. That's probably the most direct step in regards to getting your apprenticeship. So in other words, I would start by sending out resumes. Send out 100 resumes, see if you get any bites, and if you do, all right, you don't have to do the pre-apprenticeship. You go straight into the apprenticeship. But if you, like a lot of other people, are finding it very difficult to get your apprenticeship because people aren't biting, then for me, if you have the money and if you have the time, a pre-apprenticeship won't hurt because it is just going to give you knowledge that you would be learning in your first year anyways. So I am a fan of the pre-apprenticeship program. If you have time and money and you're willing to spend that time and money, go for it. But I would first start off by sending 100 resumes. That's the anecdotal opinion I have on that. So take it for what it's worth, okay, peeps? Let me see what this says. So God owes me. There's no places around me that are looking for apprenticeships. Been looking around, so instead of doing nothing, I thought school. So God owes me. God owes me. Look at schools, man. Absolutely. Look at schools and see if that's something up your alley, if it's something you can afford. I don't think it's going to be bad for you. Do you know what I'm saying? Like pre-apprenticeships typically take you through your first year of your apprenticeship, essentially. They sit you down. They give you first year theory. They also give you first year hands-on tools experience. So that way you're not totally green getting into a company. And look, to be honest, I have heard, and I don't know, keep in mind this was coming from a teacher of ours, and the teacher is kind of our bias towards schooling, so that's something to keep in mind. But the teacher was saying, there are a lot of companies, according to this teacher, that look at pre-apprenticeships as kind of like the first step. So if they don't see one there, they're not going to hire. That's what the teacher said. Again, the teacher is biased towards going to school because that teacher teaches pre-apprenticeship programs. So just keep that in mind. Realize where the bias is coming from, but maybe that they're right. Okay, so Vens are saying, one of my favorite journeymen is super shy and quiet, Gaith. So no stress, Gaith. There's no reason to be shy and not a plumber at the same time. You know what I'm saying? You could do both. I love your videos, bro. Thank you. No, Gaith, thank you. Vens are asking, where are you at? God owes me. $2,000 for one semester is cheap, but due to COVID-19, it's only one class, one day, a week for 3 hours. Okay. Georgina College in Midland. So $2,000 for one semester. And it's one class a week for 3 hours. God owes me. Look, again, the rest online. God owes me. Listen, if you're really passionate about this, I don't see why you wouldn't. You know what I'm saying? Again, God owes me. Make sure you send out those resumes first, right? But if you're interested in plumbing, this information is not going to hurt you. You know what I'm saying? It's just going to help you. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think there's anything wrong with doing it if you have the money, if you have the time. That's it. That's all I can say. I think you're not going to be as hands-on, unfortunately, as you would have been if it was like a full semester and you're there every day. Unfortunately, it's not going to be like that. But, you got to make lemonade out of the lemons you're dealt. And you're dealt with COVID-19 like we all are. And you just got to keep your head in the game. You got to stay in your lane and just keep cutting your teeth. That's all I can say. God owes me. I hope that helps. Nathan, hey Kenny, sorry for all the questions, LOL. Is there much demand for gas fitters in the GTA area? Nathan, listen, there's a lot of gas work down here as well. You know what I'm saying? Or up here, depending on where you're living. There's a lot of gas work here. So in regards to demand, demand's a very tough question to answer. I don't know how much demand there is for gas, for example, because I'm also not a gas technician. Keep that in mind. I'm just a plumber. I know in the UK, they're one and the same. They're the same apprenticeship, etc. But it's not like that here in Ontario. They're two separate trades. You know, my dad and I are busy. A lot of contractors that we know are super busy right now, but because of whatever reason, it's also renovation season. So, Nathan, you're going to find that you're going to be busy just the way we all are. You're going to have sometimes where it's super crazy, you can't breathe. Other times it's quiet and you're like, man, what's going on? So, Nathan, if you got a trade, you got nothing to worry about. Find out what the conversion is, if you can actually bring your hours here, or do you have to start from scratch? That's most important. And yes, we need gas fitters, we need plumbers, we need everything. So everything's in demand. You know what I'm saying? That's my feelings on it, okay? Take that with a grain of salt. Ask around. No worries, Nathan. Ven, be a laborer at a plumbing shop first. That's not a bad idea. Vens are killing it with the advice. You know what I'm saying? Killing it. That's another one for, I think it was Gaith. Or God owes you. Man, God owes me. I'm going to call you God owes me. So that's another idea. That's a great idea right there. Or work at a plumbing supply house. That's a good idea right there. Tenzin, bro, what do we use to hook up a dishwasher drain hose? I'm sorry for basic questions because recently I started a pre-apprentice class. What do we use to hook up a dishwasher drain hose? So normally you use either a manufactured kind of clip. They give a ring that snaps onto the drain hose and snaps onto the Y that connects the drain hose to the trap. Or sometimes they provide a gear clamp, and it's not always a gear clamp. Sometimes the gear clamps are actually, they work against the actual material, but usually it's provided with either a gear clamp or a special manufactured ring that snaps the drain hose onto the actual Y that has the stub out for I don't know if this makes sense to you peeps, but if you have put in a Y for a dishwasher, that's how it works. You know what I'm saying? You have a drain hose connector there. I hope that helps, Tenzin. I hope that helps. So peeps, if you could hit that thumbs up button, that would be absolutely fantastic. I'd appreciate that. The Vens are already on board. We got 4 people already done it. If you could hit me up with some more, that'd be amazing. We got 13 people hanging out. 5. Love you, peeps. Hit me up with more questions. 6. Oh, we're killing it. Thanks, bro. Tenzin, I hope that helps. Hit me up with questions. I'm here to answer anything or just talk about plumbing in general. If Chris is still here, Ronaldo Garcia, Kenny, what size channel locks should I get for my first pair? I'm buying a tool a week. I think the ones that I have are 11 inches long. And Aaron, you're the best. Thank you. I think they're 11 inches long, and I think they go up to 2-inch when you open up the jaws, Ronaldo. So those are a good size. They typically take care of most things. I don't know if you are in the Toronto area, but we pick them up from Noble. Most of the plumbing suppliers have this specific channel lock plier that we typically buy. That's what I would get. I would get the 11-inch ones. And then the next ones you want is like a toothless one. That's something to keep in mind as well. Toothless pliers, man, they're legit. But I bought the Nipex one because of Kyle Fogel. Kyle Fogel, my man, saw me working on some chrome with toothed pliers, which is like nay up in this business. And I'm glad he told me. Keenan, what's going on? Hit me up with more questions, peeps. I'm interested in anything. Ryan Sands, hey dude, about the gas fitter theory, you still have to cover basic gas fitter B theory during level 4 vocational, correct? These are the guidelines here in BC. So Ryan, what I want to just stipulate is that from what I understand, all the provinces are a little bit different. So in other words, here in Ontario, gas the way gas works is you got to take a course to get your first G. I don't know if that's G3 or G1. And then you got to take a subsequent course and take a subsequent course. But in Alberta, for example, their apprenticeship is gas and plumbing at the same time. So I'm really not the right person to ask, Ryan. I only know what it's like here in Ontario. So you're asking, you still have to cover basic gas fitter B theory during level 4 vocation. Ryan, I'm sorry, dude. I don't have the answer for you, unfortunately. You're going to have to ask somebody from BC. They know better. If anybody here is from BC, let Ryan know if you can. Is going to trade school, this is Gaith, is going to trade school on a scholarship from a plumbing company a bad idea? Because you will have to work for them for some years and they take from your salary to teach others. Gaith, I have never heard of a scholarship for plumbing trade school. I've never heard of it. That doesn't mean it doesn't occur. I'm just saying that here in Ontario, I haven't bumped into a single person that's gotten a scholarship. We have plenty of grants that are given out as incentives for people to go. Vens say they have. Sorry, Ryan. Yeah, Vens say they have. So there's a scholarship thing that's going on. Vens, maybe you can answer that question. It's kind of common down here. Okay, so Vens, do you think it's worth it to get a scholarship or just to pay for yourself, I guess? So what are your thoughts? Because I don't know, Gaith. Let me know, Vens. Let me move on to the next question. I'll come back to you, okay, Gaith? Matthew McKay. Kenny, I saw one of your previous videos that it looks like you did some studies at George Brown. How did you find your experience there? Matthew McKay, I had a great time at George Brown College. I went there for all 3 years of my apprenticeship. To be honest, I found the teachers to be really, really knowledgeable, sharp individuals. And I had some favorites over others, but that, each teacher had a different style and they taught different things, which was interesting as well. So so Matthew, I don't have any bad things to say about George Brown College, to be honest. I think it's a fantastic school and the teachers were awesome. I thought my plumbing apprenticeship was difficult, though. It's not something that you should take lightly. It's legitimate hard work. Matthew, are you thinking about going to George Brown or Centennial or Durham? Like, what are your thoughts if you are getting into your apprenticeship? Keenan, started my apprenticeship in 2 days. Hey, I'm so pumped. Thank you for the inspiration in the past few weeks. Keenan, congrats. That's a big deal. I would love to know how it's going, so please pop onto these Plumbstreams and let me know, because this is exciting times. Keenan, if I could just give you a couple of words of advice. Listen, for me, my plumbing apprenticeship was brutal. It was hard, okay, especially the first couple of years. So if you're experiencing that, look, it's kind of common. You're learning a brand new skill, and it's not easy work, but I'm telling you, it becomes extremely satisfying as you progress down this road. So Keenan, congratulations. Keep your chin up. Keep, plugging away. You are in the phase where you're about to cut your teeth. It takes a few years. But again, at some point, you're going to be doing stuff. You're going to be like, man, how are these hands functioning so well? You know what I'm saying? So Keenan, expect some hurdles. It's part of the game, but super satisfying, super fun, and congrats on getting in. And please hit me up. Let me know how it's going. Chris Larson, how you like the Knipex pliers toothless? What size did you get? They spendy, but if they work, makes the job look a lot nicer. Chris, the Knipex pliers costed me legit somewhere between like 75 to 125 bucks. Like, they were spendy, as you were saying. Expensive. Toothless, I wish they were a bit bigger, to be honest, because they only go up to about 1.5 inches to 1.75 inches. And sometimes I need it all the way up to 2 inches, depending on what I'm working at. So I wish that had changed, but I'm always looking for them whenever I need a toothless plier, because they're fantastic. So, and also when you lift them up, man, they're heavy, and they spent a lot of time engineering this thing. Like, it's machined to perfection. Legit. Chris, it's expensive, but legit. So thank you to Kyle Fogel for putting me on that. So the Vens are saying it's common. They pay for your school and you have to work for them a few years, or you have to pay them back the amount of school. Vens, would you say, okay, so according to that, Gaith, my thoughts are, and Vens, let me know what your thoughts are. It really depends on the company. If you love the company and you don't see yourself not working for them, maybe it's the perfect thing for you. But if you're finding that there's a couple of red flags going on, it might not be worth it because you might have to leave that company. So it might just be worth it to pay out of your pocket. That's just my thoughts. Vens, let me know what your thoughts are on this as well. Are you a Raptors and a Blue Jays fan? Aaron, I am both of those fans, but keep in mind, I don't watch a lot of sports. What I mean by that is that I'm so busy doing vlogs and stuff like that and video editing, I don't have a lot of time to watch sports. But once a year, my buddy Jonathan and I make it a thing to pop out to at least one Jays game and enjoy it. And we also popped out to a Raptors game late 2019 to check them out, man. I haven't been to a Raptors game in like 5 to 7 years. So we had a great time there. And then COVID hit after the new year, and you know how it went from there. Vens, Emma got a scholarship from Brasscraft, and they paid for some of her school. There are different scholarships out there if you check around Vens. That's really awesome. And send my love out to Emma. She's kicking butt in her apprenticeship, man. Kit, I want to be a plumbing apprentice and would like to know how. What do I need to do other than get OSHA 30 construction and studying the UPC guide? I'm a green guy, so I'm basically new. Kiet, I'm not sure where you live. I think Ontario, I think OSHA is Ontario. So here's what my thoughts are. Kiet, the apprenticeship is a 5-year program, essentially. You have to find a plumbing company that's willing to register you as an apprentice who has spots for apprentices. You live in Boston, Massachusetts. Okay, so Kit, it's going to be different in Boston than it's here in Ontario. Let me just give you the breakdown of Ontario. Maybe it's similar to Boston, but you're going to have to look it up, okay? Most of the time, if there's an apprenticeship, you got to sign up with a company that has a spot for an apprentice. They have to register you with a city that essentially says, you, Kiet, are working for this company, you're collecting hours, and you're learning all the skills required. Then Boston will potentially send you out to school 2 or 3 times to do your basic, intermediate, and advanced. And once you finish all that, then you got a licensing test to take, etc. So that's what it's like here in Ontario. After you finish all 3 in-class sessions and 9,000 hours, you can then challenge the Red Seal, which is our licensing exam, which is nationwide. And if you pass that, you are then allowed to work as a plumber nationwide. I could go to any province and territory and essentially pick up their code book, figure out what's different from my code book and the national code book, and that's the gist. So Kiet, check out in Boston. Vens, Kiet's from Boston, Massachusetts. I think that's the Boston. He's from Boston, or Kiet's from Boston. So Kiet, I hope that helps. I hope that was enough information. You got to check that out, though. Keenan, you a Maple Leafs fan? Go Jackets! Oh, Ezekiel, what's happening? Matthew, thinking of going to George Brown, yes, but would you recommend college or to call around and ask if people are taking on apprentices to start? Matthew, I think you're talking about pre-apprenticeship programs. If you're talking about pre-apprenticeship programs, I kind of answered it before, but you probably weren't here. I essentially said you want to first send out resumes. I personally, that's what I'm going to leave it at. I personally want to send out resumes first because if I can go straight into my apprenticeship, I wouldn't bother with my pre-apprenticeship. But if you can't get into your apprenticeship, then I would go the pre-apprenticeship route. I hope that helps. Dorchester, thanks, Kenny. No problem, kid. I hope that helps. OSHA is safety. Thank you. Imagine that. 07. What's going on? I live in a tiny community and learn plumbing out of necessity. I'm trying to get the courage to. I'm trying to build up the courage to ask for an apprenticeship with the only licensed plumber. I love working with copper, old school. Imagine that. Look, that's absolutely right. Build up that courage and ask because I'm telling you right now, especially if you live in a tiny community, going from 1 plumber to 2 plumbers is a big deal. And it's really important because God forbid the only licensed plumber is having a hard time or, hurts themselves on the job site, they stub their toe or they break their toe, they're going to need somebody else doing it. So you are well within your rights to ask them if they need a helper, if they can sign you up as an apprentice and get going. You absolutely should do that because small communities need skilled people. All communities do, but especially small ones. Thank you for the thumbs up, peeps. I really appreciate it. Nathan, Kenny, I've got another question, LOL. With me starting my plumbing and gas apprenticeship on Monday, they have said I can learn a second trade, which they will pay for. That's pretty awesome. Nathan, what's the question, though? Maybe you wrote it down below. Guess what I did? Don't think anything good. David Dillon, what's happening? Dave, what did you do, buddy? Dave, what did you do? You're making me nervous, bro. Making me nervous. By the way, peeps, David Dillon is my main man. So Nathan, but with my enthusiasm to come to Canada, what's your take? I'm also 24. Nathan, that's such a tough question to put on somebody because I don't know all the variables as to why you want to come to Canada. I'm not sure if, your home's a toxic environment and you're ready to leave, or I'm not sure if it's just a fun adventure that you're willing to take on. So I really don't know how to tell you which thing to do. What I would say is that, talk to the most important people in your life, the ones that you would miss when you're away, and sit down and have a conversation with them about the decision and see what their take is on it. And go to the people whose opinion matters to you. You know what I'm saying? Those people that you love. Take everybody's opinion into consideration and then follow your heart. Follow your heart, Nathan. I hope that helps. Imagine that. Absolutely. Go for it. Ask away. That might be a lot of learning, 2 trades. Vens, it sure does. UK just sucks, LOL. Nathan, I'm not sure why you're there and you have that opinion. Taking on two trades like the Vens are saying is tough work, legit. Like, it's not going to be easy. And again, I think the same advice I gave you just now makes sense. Talk to the most important people in your life. Talk to the people whose opinion you value the most. Find out if they also think it's worth it. And if you all come to the consensus that it is, awesome. Come on down to Canada. If you think it's not, you might want to take on those 2 trades. And eventually you're going to have to, face the mirror and ask yourself, what do you really want? Is it a matter of getting away from a bad situation, or is it a matter of getting away from a community or, I don't know, a culture? I don't know. It's a big deal moving, Nathan, and it's never easy. That's one thing I got to stipulate. Moving, as fun as it may be, it's really difficult for people to relocate because you're starting from scratch. You got to come here with some money so that you can rent a place for a while. You got to look for work. There's a lot of stress involved in those things. So don't take it lightly, but Nathan, maybe that's the right thing for you. You just got to figure it out, okay? David, David, are you serious? Amputated part of my right ring finger. Got caught on a scissor. Dude. Oh, Dave, man. Dave, I'm so sorry, dude. I hope it was just like got caught on a scissor lift. Oh, Dave, man, I'm so sorry, dude. I hope you're doing okay, man. I hope it didn't take off a lot. Dude, Dave. Peeps, Dave has just been in a workplace injury, man. Yeah, workplace accident. Dude, Dave, rest up, fam. Man, I'm so sorry that happened, man. I hope it's still in good shape and it's not going to slow you down from doing your trade and doing, what you normally do. Ven, yeah, halfway between nail and first joint. So like right here, you're saying? On your ring finger, dude? Oof, Dave, you got to be safe, man. I'm glad it was, I'm sad to know that it's something, but I'm glad it was just that. It could have been way worse, God forbid if your whole hand more up. So you're talking about right to the cuticle, you're saying? Like close to your cuticle? Dude. Look, Dave, I'm super happy you're doing well. And, man, That's most important. I'm glad you got it under control. Oof, man. Dave, man, like I'm stressing out just thinking about it, man. Entire nail gone. Dave. Oh, man. Bro, I'm so sorry to hear that, dude. Just be safe, man. Take it easy. Take it easy, man. Dave, sending out only good vibes to you, brother. Love you, buddy. Be well, man. Just be safe, man. Be safe. Really quickly, Chris Larson, do you prefer residential, commercial, or commercial service work? Chris, honestly, my roots are in residential. I do enjoy it, but every time I bump into commercial, it's nice as well because it changes up the monotony of the service work in residential. The Vens are sending out love to you, David, as well. Ryan from Ven's Vlogs ended up breaking his foot. I think it was a year and a half, 2 years, maybe a year ago. Dropped a toilet on his foot, poor guy. And he was like in a cast for a while, man, struggling, man. Peeps, this is what let's just transition really quickly into workplace safety. Our work is no joke in regards to safety. We are putting our lives in danger every day. We wear steel toes every day. We always have hearing protection. We always have eye protection, and you have to be vigilant about that. David is an experienced plumber. These things happen to experienced plumbers as well because every once in a while you just don't see the variables at hand. So Ryan from Ven's Plumbing is an experienced plumber. But, these things happen. We all have to be careful. That's all I want to, stipulate about this. You have to be up to learning. You have to be up to the standards of learning, safety harnesses, fire protection. Just make sure your personal protection gear is always up to par, always up to standard. You got to be careful. Dude, Dave, I'm so sorry, bro. I hope you're well, man. I hope you're well. Keenan, I worked at a chemical plant for 3 years prior to entering plumbing and saw my fair share of injuries. I hope to stay injury-free throughout my plumbing career. Keenan, I hope everybody stays injury-free because it's not easy. David says you're just drugged up right now. Dude, I imagine the pain is killer. Vince Vlogs, be careful, dude. While drugs are good, missing being on site, letting team down, not being there. Dave, the whole point right now is just to recover. And the best thing for recovery is just rest, man. As you rest, your body gets better at recovering. So just rest up, man. Man, you must be on some serious painkillers right now because, dude, you took off your whole nail, bro. I hope you're okay, man. Hope you're okay. The Vens had 3 months off. Yeah. Gaith, bro, want to ask you, what countries have you visited outside of Canada? So very briefly, where have I been? I've been to the United States. I have been to Belgium. I actually played soccer in Belgium. We did 2 weeks there as a team. I've been to Cuba. I've been to the Dominican Republic. Where else have I been? That's pretty much it. I think those are them. Everything else that I've been to, like I've been to St. Martin as well in the Caribbean. I went to St. Martin as well. Oh man, I can't remember any more right now, but those are the places I've been. And man, I hope to make that list much longer throughout this life, Next question. So God owes you. God owes me. My friend says where he started his apprenticeship, he did new builds. He said that made him really understand the system layout and how they work. Does new builds give you more experience than service? God owes you me. God owes you me. Man, I'm changing your name every time I say it. In regards to learning the engineering behind plumbing, doing new builds definitely allows you to understand it way more because as a service plumber, the most difficult part I had as a service plumber, especially in my first couple of years, is that I couldn't see behind the walls. There's drywall over it. I don't know what's happening back there. So when I went to school for my first year, it was a big deal because my teacher was drawing out the piping and I was like, wow. That's what I'm doing when I'm snaking a drain. That's where it's going. That's how it's connected. What? This one drain also acts as a vent. What? So I'm snaking actually this one portion that's called a wet vent. School was a big deal to show that to a service plumber. Now, the question you asked though is, does new builds give you more experience than service? God owes me. You get different experience according to the type of plumbing that you're doing. So if you're doing new builds, I did go to Hawaii, Luigi, but that's also America, no? I was going to say Hawaii, but I didn't want to get trapped. People would be like, dude, you said the U.S. Absolutely, Luigi. So God owes me. It depends. Like a person that does new builds is going to be really polished in the layout of things, but they're not going to be polished in regards to the service side of things. So how do you fix a toilet when it's running? When it's running, what do you have to fix? If you have a wobbly toilet, what do you got to do? If your bathtub is clogged, what do you have to do? So that's all service stuff, you know what I'm saying? And that's the experience there. So as a service plumber, you're learning a different type of experience than somebody who's just doing rough-ins and layouts all the time. So we intertwine, of course. Both are important, as the Vens are saying, absolutely. And that's what makes you a well-rounded plumber. But each and every one is going to give you experience in a different way. That's all. And it's not, and neither's good, neither's bad. You know what I'm saying? In reality, I think what you want to do is try to be well-rounded and do both in your career. That's the hope, okay? God owes me. Chris at Larson, what's your go-to head attachment for the K1500? Still pretty new to the drain cleaning. So Chris, I don't know what this drain attachment's called. I'm really sorry to say that, but it's basically we bend it actually. So it's the coil that we bend it a little bit, and it's the straight piece. We really love that attachment, but Dad's bent it quite a bit over the years purposely because he wants it to try to scrape the ends of the pipe. So he bends it, it makes it go down a little bit easier, but it's the long, basically, attachment for the K1500. That's our go-to usually. Both are important. Luigi, what's going on? You popped on? Good tip, thanks. Thanks, Chris. Nathan, Kenny, got another question. My apprenticeship being solely maintenance and service, is it an easy transition to working in new builds as it's more installation work for new builds? So Nathan, I don't think it's an easy transition either way you go. So in other words, if you were just doing new builds, it's not an easy transition to go to service because look, service is a lot of troubleshooting. A lot of the knowledge and experience service workers have is they have troubleshooting knowledge. They have knowledge of leaks manifesting, and they have patterns in their head, and they go, okay. Vens think the opposite of me. We'll get to that in a second. And they don't know where to go sometimes. If you're new to service, they don't know where to go to find this leak or figure out why this high-rise is acting the way it's acting. Vens are saying start reading blueprints. And vice versa, if you've never done rough-ins before, I don't think it's an easy transition to go to do rough-ins. That's my thoughts on it, Nathan. Let's find out what the Vens are saying because they think it's different. Vens are saying if you start reading blueprints, it should make your life a little bit easier, I guess. But that's my 10 cents on that for new construction. So, Vens, do you think it's harder to go to new construction or harder to go to service, depending on where you first started? That's an interesting question right there. My feeling is there's a lot more variables in service. There's a lot more things that could go wrong in service because you're dealing with used systems. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you have water crossover, for example, and your cold water line for some reason is not giving you cold enough water, not legitimately cold water. Harder in service, Vens are saying. I agree with that. There's a lot more variables in service. But I also think if you've never touched rough-ins before, it's not gonna be easy doing rough-ins. It depends on how green you are with rough-ins, to be honest. That's my thoughts. But service has way more variables. So when this crossover takes place, you either have to find a cartridge that is somehow crossing these over, or sometimes there are certain fixtures that people install that cross things over. You ever seen those dishwashers that you hook up to your faucets? Sometimes that itself can do a crossover, man. But that's like, that's only a service conversation. That doesn't happen in new construction. You know what I'm saying? Let me keep going. Elliot, what's going on? Just want to drop by and say, hey, Kenny, thanks again for your videos, man. They're helping me through my apprenticeship. Elliot, that brings joy and love to my heart. I really appreciate you checking them out. Thank you so much for being supportive and hanging out with us. I don't know if you saw Vlog 78, but it came out last week. A lot of people seem to have missed the notification. Maybe it didn't pop out, but Elliot, appreciate the love and support, fam. And I hope your apprenticeship is going fantastic. Wow, we got 12 likes and we have 12 people watching. Really love that. Peeps, hit me up with more questions. I got about 5 more minutes, then I got to take the dog out. The dog's super tired today, boy. We did a lot of stuff today. Really appreciate the thumbs up, peeps. Love the support. Thank you. Five more minutes. Hit me up with any questions that you might be having. Anything altogether. It's gotten quiet. Dave, if you're still out there, man, I hope you're well. There you are. I think service is harder than you. Like, how would I learn why toilet has hot water in it? LOL. Oh, yeah, Chris, I got to talk to you about that. Okay, Dave, yeah, I absolutely agree, man. There's so much involved with service. So many things could go wrong. So troubleshooting leaks and troubleshooting issues is a big deal. Okay, so do you use that PEX? So, Chris, we recently bought a Wurzbo expander. So we do use it, and we used it this week. Here's what I got to say. And we also do use PEX as well. These videos have really helped me. So much appreciated. Imagine that. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you checking out the videos. Check out the last vlog if you haven't seen it. So let me quickly talk about Wurzbo and my Wurzbo experience. So I've worked on Wurzbo a couple of times in my career. The first time was at plumbing school. After that, I bumped into it on a job site a couple of times. So I'm working on Wurzbo the other day, and I got to cut this pipe, and I put the ring on it, and then I put the machine in, and I start expanding both the ring and the pipe, but the bloody ring starts slipping off and going further down the pipe. Oh, let me tell you the stress involved in that, because that ring ain't coming back up, man. It's closing on you. Peeps, have you experienced this? This was a bloody disaster. Only after that point did I realize you really got to be on top of that ring to make sure that ring stays there and stuck. You know what I'm saying? As you're expanding it. But once you put that support in, you can finally get that expander to open up the ring and the pipe at the same time. Boy, stress. We've been doing expansion for 2 to 3 years exclusively. Ryan's dying laughing. Oh, Ryan. Stress. Am I right? Holy crap. When that ring started going this way, I was like, no, where are you going, bro? Stay here. What the hell? And I have to tell you, it was on a manifold, and I cut this piece of pipe short. So I'm like, okay, it's cool. I've got enough length, so I'm expanding it, and it's going towards where the ring is on the manifold. And I'm like, dude, like I gotta cut this off the manifold now, peeps. Panic attack went down when that ring started moving on me, dude. I used language no good Christian should use, let me tell you, okay? So just be aware, you got to be on top of that ring. Make sure it don't move on you. Boom. So, Kenny, is there a particular trade you want to venture into after doing plumbing for a while? Ryan, honestly, what I really love watching is carpentry. Man, watching the finishing work on carpentry is absolutely fantastic. There are 2 carpenters I follow on YouTube. One is called Finish Carpentry, and the other one is Scott Brown Carpentry. Both guys seem like the sweetest people in the world and top-notch carpenters. I love watching their finish, man. It's always a lot of fun. And I got to be honest, man, a part of me loves working with wood. I always have. It's just an amazing material. So that if I had time. He knows my pain. Thank you, Vens. Ryan, man, you probably felt that panic I felt when I first saw it happening. So Chris Larson, worst episode, expanding a 1-inch ring and got the head of the expander stuck in a brass fitting. Oh, Chris, that can't be good, man. That can't be good at all. You know what we did on the same job site where that ring started running away from me, man? Dad went too far in and actually broke one of the fittings further down during the expansion. Dude, I'm telling you, it was amateur hour for a good minute that day, man. Funny, Ryan loves woodworking too. I don't know what it is, man. Wood is so satisfying to work with. I don't know why, but that's it. Peeps, I'm going to give us 2 more minutes. If you got any last questions, hit me up. But thank you for hanging out with me on the weekend. Ryan, thank you for laughing with me along with that ring story. You must know my panic, man. When that ring starts going, oh, man, the heart rate goes up for sure. Really appreciate the love and support, peeps. I'm going to get a vlog out to you. I'm going to do everything in my power to get a vlog out to you tomorrow. Do me a favor, though. If you haven't checked out my vlog last week, which is vlog 78, check that out. Later, Aaron. Nathan, my pleasure, brother. Vens go. Expansion is the only way to go. Glad we switched a few years ago. It's a lot of fun. I ain't going to lie. Very satisfying. Keep up the awesomeness. David, sending you just good vibes, friend. Please put that finger on ice and be careful, brother. Be careful. Enjoy the first live stream. Looking forward to the next. Be cool to go over some of your favorite tools or something. Chris, make sure you bring that up in the next live stream. I would love to talk to you about it. Absolutely. Peeps, thank you for the love and support. Thank you for hanging out. Like, subscribe, comment, and I'll see you plumbers very soon. See ya, kid. Kenny Molotov, peeps. Peace, baby.